Let's try this again. Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Erasmo, your intuitive divination mentor and intuitive biz coach. It looks like it's so much better now. It looks a lot better. Let's see. There we go. No lag. No lag. So that just means I'm going to have to wait to individually open like all of my examples until afterwards. Oh, much better, huh, Lisa? Oh my God. Oh my God. It was ridiculous. Okay, that's fine. I have things prepped over here then. Okay. Darn me and all of my examples that I have, because copywriting is awesome, writing is awesome. So I was a little excited and I had like 8 examples open. Because I'm horrible. I have too much stuff to talk about for copywriting. Okay. All right. So first off, I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. If you're coming in, just say hello to me whenever you want to. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Today we're going to be talking about copywriting like a badass. This is the first of like... Lisa, it doesn't look like a Japanese film anymore. I know, like, that's okay though. I liked being a kung fu master for a second. Today we're going to be talking about everything that has to do with copywriting and how to do it like you're a published playwright, like I am, or a published author. I love writing and I love books. So I'm going to be giving a lot of suggestions for that stuff today. Let's make sure I have my notes in the right place. That would be a good idea, huh? So some of this stuff my maidens are going to be familiar with and my mothers are going to be familiar with because I've touched on it. This is the system that I'm going to teach you how to use today. I use for my intuitive tarot readings. It's like a tiny little section of my readings. We're going to go over, I want you to step into story mode here, because usually when people talk about copywriting, they think like you have to sit down and create something really sales pitchy, something really car salesman-y, but we want to do that from a soul-centered kind of point of view, right? We want to do this from our heart chakra. We want to heal the world. We don't want to be super funky about things, right? Because that's really gross. We don't want to do gross things, right? So we're going to talk today about this. Let's invite people first. Boom. Boom. People that I know wanted to see this. Boom. Sure. Let's see. No point in inviting Lisa. Lisa's already here because Lisa's awesome. Let's see. That one. That one. Not that one. Okay. Awesome sauce. Hi, Brenda. And again, let me know if you're watching the replay or if you're just hopping in to say hello. Seriously, just let me know. But first off, I want to talk to everybody about why we're going to take this approach, coming it from an author's point of view, right? So first off, well, it's more than just an author's point of view. It's coming from also a storytelling kind of point of view. Because every piece of literature you write, including copywriting that you do for a business, in case you don't know, when I'm talking about copywriting, I'm not talking about trademarks. I'm talking about any way that you communicate with a client, that you communicate with people when you're giving readings. All of that is considered copywriting. Anything you create for a meditation counts as copywriting. If you are putting out an advertisement for any of your offers, whether you work on Etsy and you sell malas or make candles, or you are a coach or a teacher, or you're a reader and you're trying to do Valentine's Day's offers, because this is perfect in time for Valentine's Day to like really get on point with your copy, then you're going to want to know this, because if you come at it from a really icky point of view, it's going to make you feel really yuck about it. And when I say it in that kind of sense, if you come at it from the point of view of I need to make these sales, you aren't going to create good copy. And you aren't going to be an awesome reader, like, or an awesome business owner from Mothers and Up. And even if you're a maiden and you're like, I'm not even in this for the business stuff, you want to use this because this is going to teach you how to communicate with other people if you're doing practice readings, or even how to intuitively figure out questions for yourself, right? It'll be much easier. Yay, people are coming in. Hi, Caitlin. Hi, Brenda. Hi. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Anna. Awesome. So first off, I want to give you an intro to how I got here. So I've talked about in the past how theater really shapes everything that I do here and that I teach you guys, because if we put it in a theatrical kind of context, in a way that movies and books and plays and shows are presented, then sometimes it's easier for us to understand it, right? Hi, Stephanie. I hope you're doing fabulous. So I'm coming from having done 10-minute play classes, where in 10 minutes you need to get your idea across very quickly. You need to introduce everybody, you need to create some kind of conflict, have some kind of character arc, and resolve it in 10 minutes, which a lot of the times is 10 pages, right? And there's a variation of ways you can do this, but I found it was perfect training for copywriting. And something else that I'm going to mention, which my maidens, you're really going to recognize this, and my mothers a little bit, because I talked about this a touch, mainly in identifying your clients, is I used this book for my directing class, Directing for the Stage, right? And the reason why I mention this is because it goes over specifically why an actor would want to do something, why a character would want to do something. And I've realized that when I first started on my reading journey, first started being a coach, and first started really writing copy all the time, that it was eerily similar to the things that I had to do for every single production I was in. As a director and plotting out my stuff and having to explain to actors why they wanted to do things, and as an actor myself and figuring out what is more to this character than just what's on the page, because they're supposed to be lifelike people. So I'm going to teach you a little bit of what I do, and this is how I also, if you're a part of the maidens level, this is how I teach a little bit. Like, this is only a chunk, but this is how I teach you how to read tarot intuitively without ever having to pick up and memorize keywords. And for mothers, this is how I teach you to identify your client's problems. And that's really what we're going to be doing today. So let me give that introduction first. You can see all the books that I have behind me, and I have more right there that I'm going to be picking up and showing you. Not to mention the resources that made my computer lag out. So first off, I would like everybody in the chat to tell me, either give me hearts and likes to say yes, or straight up tell me in a comment if you enjoy reading stories, or if you enjoy watching movies or going to see plays, if you have written anything before, like whether that's fan fiction or you do writings and poetry on Tumblr, if you have been published as well, like I have, if you've done short little snippets for magazines, or you have a blog or something, let me know your history of writing, because that is going to help me not treat you like a beginner. I'm still going to talk about some beginning stuff in case you don't understand what I'm talking about, but I want to know your background. So let me know in the comments real quick. And I shall wait for you. Because I have always, personally, I've always been a writer. I used to carry around a notebook. I think the first thing that I wrote ever was in fourth grade. I was obsessed with Hey Arnold, and I wrote my own version of the little opera for Carmen that they did in a Hey Arnold episode one time. And I made my Spanish class act it out. The teacher really loved it, but no one wanted to show up for rehearsals, and that made me mad. My first experience ever being a director and a writer. So I've always done this, and books have always been around me. Like, you can't see, but under the desk I have 2 cabinets filled with books. Whenever we move, that is the heaviest thing, because I have a bunch of them and I have to put them in my suitcase so we can roll it instead of lifting it. I love writing so much and I love reading so much. So that's going to help if you guys are on the same level as me. Okay, getting some hearts and likes. Brenda and Lisa, experienced writers. Woo! Awesome sauce. So I'm going to assume then that some of the people that pop on here, they might not know anything about writing, or if they do, they haven't written in a good minute. So the thing that I want you to understand first off is every person is like any kind of movie or any kind of show or book or anything, how they have their own plot structure. Only our plot structures, you know, that whole world is a stage and all the men and women on it are players. Our plot structure, our character arc, our denouement, all is based off of our life path, right? And a lot of us work exclusively in the way with life paths, or going back into the Akashic records where it has been written, and our actions have been written and changing what happened, right? So I want you to understand that when you're writing a piece of copy, you are talking to somebody at a specific point in their plot structure, at a specific point in their character arc. And you can either be the one that gets them to the climax and then onto the denouement, or you're going to be one of many pieces that build up to that. Okay, so first off, the first misconception when it comes to copywriting is that everything has to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. Usually you do, but it has to be taken out of that sense of everybody is linear and their paths are always the same. Sometimes we're going to regress. Sometimes we're going to go back. Sometimes we're going to leap ahead like a billion pieces, and people are like, I don't relate to your copy. I don't relate to what you're telling me because it's not exactly the journey I was on, right? So we got to move out of that mindset that people are linear and not contiguous. So what the hell am I talking about for there? So there's two different plot structures that I want you to keep in mind today. This happens whether you're a writer or not. If you're trying to portray a message to somebody, most of the time they are going to be contiguous about how they do things and not linear. So linear, for example, if I were to take my own, like myself as an example, if I were to say, hey, this is where you're starting with your business, you should go ahead and join my Crown Academy because that'll fix you. Or to put it in a really simple context, let's say, because the linear structure is more masculine, and this is usually where people don't like it because then it's very push, 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 salesy, salesy, salesy. Car salesmen do this. Think of it like a man walking into the bar. He walks in the bar and he sees a pretty person. Like, we'll do a dude or a guy, dude or a girl here, but this person is more masculine focused. So we're going to go masculine for the linear. I like them. I'm going to take them home. We're doing the deed. Yay! Rising action, rising action. I don't have to explain rising action when it comes to sex. Climax, and I'm asleep. And that is a masculine mindseted person. That is a very car salesman-y way to do it. That is Michael Bay. So that is like Shia LaBeouf finds Bumblebee, and then he meets all the other Transformers, big blow up things, and then the story quickly finishes. That is a linear. WWE, if you're into watching wrestling like my husband is, all of their stories are very linear plot structures stacked on top of each other. I'm trying to think. Like one of the tag teams of Sheamus and Cesaro. They didn't like each other at first, but Shane McMahon forced them to be tag team partners. They started working together, being really mean to each other, and then they get to the climax and they're best buddies, and now they've been tag team champions for fucking ever. So that's an example of linear. And not everybody is linear in their journey, so I want you to really toss that out the window when it comes to writing copy. Most of the time, we're going to write for people who are contiguous. And what the fuck does contiguous mean? Contiguous is when you have a story that is more overlapping. Multiple events are happening at different times. Sometimes it's like right now my husband is having a different plot happening in the other room right now, and so is my daughter to him, that all three of them are going to be overlapping and having to do with each other because we're in each other's lives. It's like a soap opera, how you got one person over here doing something at the same time as the other one that fucks up the first one, and then it mentions the third one, and it's all over the place. So contiguous is more feminine, okay? So we have our lady or our very feminine person in the bar, and they're like, oh, this person's nice, but they kind of smell, but okay, they're kind of cute. I'm gonna take them back to my place. Okay, we're doing all the actions. No, not hitting the right spot. Yes, hitting the right spot over and over and over again after the other person is asleep. Oh, this place is kind of nice, but he's really messy. Da, 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 da. And it's still going. It's like a heart monitor, only lapping over each other. Some real life examples of this would be Pulp Fiction, how different scenes overlap each other. Or Memento, how it starts at the end and it goes all the way to the beginning based off of how his memory is. There's a lot of plays that are contiguous. The most real life thing that you will ever see when someone is talking to you is when they're talking in a way that assumes that you are going on a contiguous journey, that you have had things happen to you at different points. You're a person, things have changed, that other people's stories are happening at the same time as yours. They're not discrediting yours, but it is very, like, things are going to shift always for you. They mention that you could go down different paths. However, if you take this one, this is how I would help you. That is very contiguous. So the way that I have set up the Academy now is an example of being contiguous. At any point, you can jump from a crone all the way back down to a maiden, and then up to mother, and then back to maiden, and then up to crone, and blah, 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 blah. The way that it's set up now is that way you can jump over a certain amount of time. Right? So that is the way, that way it's more flexible. And if you can understand that you yourself pop all over the place, but you can track in a way how it happened for you, that's going to give you successful copy in the first place. Okay? And there's a very easy way to figure this out, to figure out, okay, I'm starting here and I want to talk to my client about how they'll get there. What kind of journey can I take them on? This is how you can figure it out. So first off, there's 4 parts to every single piece of copy, no matter what plot structure you're using, that is going to be able to help you succeed and really get to the heart of your client. Because usually for readings or for any kind of product, every person that is watching this or is alive on the planet or being gestated on this planet has 4 things, and one of them is always missing when there's a problem. That's a pain point. You hear people talk about pain points all the time for business. You need to talk about your clients' pain points and your struggles and all that kind of stuff. The base of it is one of these 4 things are missing. Okay? Hi, Amanda. So first off is our objective. What the hell does the person want? Okay, and this can be, a lot of people think it's very simple, like they want a reading. No, it's more than that. This is where beginning readers get really messed up about the kind of spread that they should be using, and they use a Celtic cross, okay, because it's too big. This is where beginning business owners get messed up, because you think that you want the money goal, when in reality, that's not exactly what you want. You want to be home with your kids. You want to have a better relationship with your family. You want to be able to live your life while you're dealing with an illness. That is really your objective, okay? It's not making money. Your objective is never to make money. So I don't want you to confuse that. And neither is your client. Your client's objective is never to make money, or never to go get a reading or a healing. That is how they get there. That's the second part. The objective, though, is what do they really want? So if you've been tripping up over your copy lately, there's a reason why, if you have been using those as your reasons, okay? And a lot of people get tripped up on their copy because of that, because they are putting the wrong objective there. We got to talk to people and figure out what their objective is in the first place. So once you have your objective, you need to think about the action, okay? Action, what do they do? What do they need to do to get to the objective? This is movement. This is when things are happening. This is the masculine side that a lot of people have a hard time with when it comes to their business or for doing readings. They have a hard time figuring out the next steps. However, that is a wonderful question to ask your cards. Actually, these 4 things, you could easily turn this into a 4-card spread if you need to get to the heart of something for somebody. So if you have your objective and you figure out what you need to do next, figure out the action, then of course there's going to be an obstacle. That's our 3rd one. And the obstacle isn't meant to be there as a way to stop you. That's another issue with copywriting. They might be clear on the objective and they might be clear on the action that you need to take, because usually the action you need to take is the program or the reading or anything that you have offering in order to get to the objective. But the obstacle is the big one. People are encountering an obstacle. And the big thing you got to figure out is, what is their main struggle? What's the big one? Because we all have a lot of problems in our day-to-day life. But if you identify that key one, that's going to create that sense of urgency, and that's what's going to get people to buy. If you're doing readings for other people, if you don't identify the struggle they're having, sometimes they'll straight up tell you the struggle they're having, but they don't completely know the entire struggle. They only know the piece of it that is making them maddest the most, right? So if you can identify the obstacle, then you can figure out how to get that action to go around the obstacle, or if the obstacle is so big that they have to deal with it before they can get to their objective. So, and then the last one, the one that they make fun of for actors all the time. What is my motivation? I don't know why I'm doing this. That's your inner image. That's your motivation. Your reason to start a business is your inner image. We want to say that we're here to heal the world, and that's not always the reason. Sometimes the reason is very selfish. When it comes to doing readings or healings for other people, sometimes they don't tell you their inner image, and they want you to guess it because they feel like if you're psychic enough, you should be able to figure it out. However, not all the time. Sometimes if you really get to their pain point and you talk to them about it, they will tell you their real motivation for something. And we feel really ashamed a lot of the times of our motivations or our inner images because they're selfish. It's to make ourselves feel better in a very specific way, right? And that is 1,000% okay. If you are honest about that in your copywriting and whatever you choose to write, then that's being authentic. If you openly admit what your motivation is, then people are like, holy crap, you're actually telling me the truth. You know, you're not pulling my leg, you're not in this for the money, you're actually in this to help me, and I feel like I can connect with you. So if you figure out these 4 things about your client, because they do relate to you and how they relate to you, then you will have successful copy on a very simple level. So to put this in some, does everybody understand so far? Give me hearts and likes if you're understanding so far. Hello, Luann. I hope you're doing fabulous. Let me know if that makes sense so far. Hi, Melinda. Oh my God, that's so true. Good. I'm glad that makes sense for you. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Cool, getting hearts and likes. Yes, I'm glad it makes sense. Awesome sauce. So here's another way to put this for you. To really break it down and put it in a business sense, because right now we're talking about story writing, right? So if we put this in a business sense on how to use copywriting for your business, we want you to get clear on who you're helping. Okay, that's your objective. Okay, I want you to you need to ask them what they want. That's the action. You need to finalize your offer. That's a big obstacle. And then you need to write the copy, which is the motivation. And I'm going to explain why this is for a second. So if you're clear on who you help for the first one, that then you're able to help them figure out their entire plot structure. You're able to help them out from beginning to end, whether they are contiguous or linear with their journey. It does not matter. But if you are clear on who you are helping, then it saves a lot of trouble down the road, and it will keep you from having 5 years of struggle and turning that just into maybe a couple months of struggle for your business. Now, this is where people get tripped up. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs get tripped up because, especially in the metaphysical field, we want to heal the world. I love that you want to heal the world. Hell, I wanted to heal the world at one point, but think about it very realistically. If you want to heal the world, that's a lot of people with a lot of different problems, and some of them you might not know how to solve. So you need to get clear on the right objective for you. You need to get clear on the right person that you are helping, okay? Whether this is single mothers who have issues connecting in relationships again, and they have severe heart chakra and sacral chakra trauma and they need a Reiki session, or whether this is up-and-coming witches that need really authentic tools for not an arm and a leg and you make candles for them. Whatever product you are making has a client that you are helping. And if you get really clear on that and get specific about it, because we get scared of specificity, if you get really specific about it, then you will always know you are talking to the right person. If you notice really good copy from other groups, if you go on to any other Facebook groups, really successful people know who they're talking to. Even multiple figures, people who are making 6-7 figures a month or a year know exactly who they are talking to. And they straight up say it in their copy. Usually at the beginning, they say who they're talking to. So get clear on that first. You don't have to heal the world. You just got to heal one person with the problem that you really help with, and it'll sprinkle out. It'll ripple out. Okay? Next, I want you to ask them what they want. This is where the action comes in. This is research before you do your book. Like if you were writing a book right now and you know the plot generally, the kind of story that you want to tell, you got to do some research about it. I'm sorry, but you have to. I wrote a book for National Novel Writing Month. I had to go and research food. I had to research torture methods because that's the kind of book that it is. I had to really dig deep into it. I had to look up actual places and castles and stuff so I could completely describe them. I had to look into psychology. I had to look at all kinds of weird things that usually writers, if the FBI was looking at your history, you'd probably get arrested for. They're wondering what in the world you're doing here. When it comes to writing copy for your business, though, the way that you want to research is if you know who your client is or who the person that you're talking to is, whether you're doing this for free or not, go ask them what they want. If you're not really clear on where they're struggling, like on what their obstacle is, go into a group or go into a public place or wherever they hang out and go ask them what the problem is in a really genuine way. Be like, I want to be able to help you, but I need to know clearly what you're struggling with right now. People will happily answer your questions. If you have a survey or a quiz, how many times have you taken a survey or a quiz on Facebook just because you saw a friend put one up? Or just because you were scrolling by and it said, hey, can we have your honest opinion about something? Okay, that's very easy. On YouTube, I am more likely to answer the little survey questions they have than to watch an ad. I won't skip it, right? I'll happily tell them my opinion. This one or none of them, thank you very much. And that gets them better content to suggest for me. And I am okay with that. They're delivering something for me. So if you are stuck on your copy and how to even refine your program enough to make sure that it matches what people need, go ask them, okay? And then 3, for your obstacle, you got to finalize your offer with the information they gave you. Use those words that you found. Use the emotions that they're talking about and relate it to your life and when you felt that emotion in that way, right? and use this to put it into your offer. And you can do this in any kind of way, because this is a very healthy way of putting your research into view. It's not like you are method acting, for example, where you use your emotions and you channel them into a character and then it's like you are that character. We're not doing that here. It's like instead noticing how a person's breathing patterns will make them either want to laugh or want to cry. And you use those to then create a believable emotion on stage. Very easy, right? And then after that, the motivation, that should be crystal clear, and you need to write your copy. Write it. Just tell a story. The best descriptions that you've ever put on an Etsy shop, the best descriptions that you've ever done for a program and to sell a program, it's all about writing it and telling a story while you're doing it. Even, like I said, if you have an Etsy shop for your readings or for your physical offers or whatever, if you look at the descriptions of the really high selling ones, they tell a story. They're putting ideas of where their product could be used in that person's life. So wouldn't this look wonderful above your mother-in-law's bed for her anniversary? Hey, you're being very descriptive here, and they're very clearly stating who this is for. This is for your mother-in-law for her anniversary. There's no mistake. And if you don't have a mother-in-law or yours isn't having an anniversary anytime soon, then you know that that product's not for you, right? And the way the copy was written is very easy, right? So does this make sense so far? Let me know if this does, because I feel like it can be very complicated with the way that it makes sense in my brain. So I want to make sure I'm super crystal clear with you. And if you have questions, please don't hesitate to put them into the comments. Let's see. Hi, Kat. Hope you're doing wonderful. The way that we're approaching this is just as if we're writing anything else. We're just telling a story about something true, right? We're just, this is nonfiction writing. Yes, indeed. Awesome sauce. Wonderful. Fabulous. So, I want to talk about some things that might trip you up when you are writing your copy. We talked a little bit about not having your offer very clear, about not having your audience very clear. This is something else that can mess you up. If you are focusing more on the features of your offer or your reading and not the solution that it provides. Okay, so what do I mean by this? A lot of the times you can pick out people who are brand new at writing copy of any kind or giving a reading because they are focused on the features more. This is a 60-minute session where we're going to go, you'll be given a PDF afterwards. It will be delivered to you in 2 to 4 business days. And I will call you at your phone number, or I will call you on Facebook. That is the features. We don't want to, people don't give a fuck about the features, to be very honest. They care about the solution that you provide, right? So for example, well, fuck it. Let's take the Crohn's level. We'll do the Crohn's level of the Academy, use my stuff as an example. The features are a class every 2 weeks, 1 monthly coaching session, 1 monthly mastermind session with all the other members of the group, where they give you feedback, 1 yearly mastermind, attendance to the Secret Psychic Online Fair for 2020. Those are some features. Sounds kind of okay if I mention the features, especially the last 2, right? But I need to talk about what the hell it's going to do for you, right? I need to talk about the solution that it provides. So if you are a crone, for me, that means that you are already making money in your business, but you're having a hard time managing your time. So the way we're going to solve this is we're going to help you figure out some automation. We're going to teach you how to work on some passive income, and I'm going to help you build your team. And we're going to do this in bite-sized chunks. That is an example of giving the solution. By the time the program is over, they're going to have a team that's working with them, so they're the CEO, and they don't have to worry about advertising and marketing and all that kind of stuff, because they have someone to do the busy work for them, right? So that's a solution. Got automation, so you can spend actual time with your family instead of posting on Pinterest 14 to 27 times a day like everybody in the world says that you should be doing. That's a solution. And I related it to their life, right? Let's see. And then passive income. Don't you want to do the happy dance while you're going through Hobby Lobby and getting your stickers for the week, right? You could hear cha-chings all day because we're going to set up passive income funnels for you. So that'll do the work for you. It's things you've already created, and it'll make you money while you're just chilling. That is an example. That's an example of giving a solution and not a feature. If I were to give a feature about the book, where did I just put it? Here we go. Let's take this book for example. Okay, we're going to take The Witches for example by Stacy Schiff. It's about the Salem witch trials. The features of this book, it's a book. It's, how many pages are you? How many pages are you? 496 pages. Has reviews from the Chicago Tribune and National Public Radio, has a map of Salem, and gives a character list of every person who was involved in the trials. Doesn't sound very interesting, right? If I were to talk about this instead of, this is a realistic novel based on the accounts and the trials of those who were accused of being witches in 1694 Salem, 92 Salem, excuse me, and their accounts and how it all started. Go on this fantastic journey with me that is, and if we were to take a quote, an intoxicating brew, almost scandalously pleasurable, according to USA Today. Okay. That's a little more interesting. I'm using descriptive words. I'm talking about the solution that it has. By the end, you will know the exact accounts and have the best depiction of what we can describe of what happened in 1692 Salem. Okay. And this woman did her research, right? And even the back, when she describes what the book is about, she's giving solutions to what you will know by the end of it. She's not giving the features. She mentions some features like drawing masterfully on the archives of Salem witch trials. Okay, it's drawing on the accounts. So you know where this is coming from. That's a feature, okay? But you are being very, they're being descriptive about it because it's a book. They want you to buy the book, okay? Look at any books you've ever bought, whether they're nonfiction or fiction or whatever, and read the back. Just read the outside of it and see how they describe it, because that's going to give you a good hint at why you bought it. Most likely they're describing the solution you're going to have versus the features, right? Dave Ramsey and his Total Money Makeover. It talks about you will make over your money solution and get yourself out of debt. That is the solution. People buy his shit so they can get out of debt. He doesn't tell you the big old process. You got to buy the book and open it up to get the process and the features, right? So that kind of thing. So does that make sense when I'm talking about talk about the solution as opposed to the features? Features are boring. That's how you get people to not buy your shit. Don't talk about the features. Talk about what you're going to do. And the thing about talking about the solution, I love our metaphysical market. I love that we embrace the woo and the feminine, but not everybody speaks woo and feminine. Don't take your journey so far that you are painting a picture, okay, that you are that you're writing Lord of the Flies and you're describing the trees for 5 pages. Please don't do that. Or that you're J.R.R. Tolkien and you're giving the backstory on every tree branch. Please don't do that. That is not something to mention. Be very upfront about it. Hey, are you struggling with this? I totally get it. I've been there too. and it sucked until I learned X, Y, and Z. I want to take you how to learn through that with my one-on-one Reiki session or my one-on-one reading package for Valentine's Day. Or what is it? Or in my one-on-one coaching package, or with my DIY program, whatever it is, be very upfront about that and deliver the solution, make it relatable, and you will be fine. You will sell out. It's so much better, right? Some other tips, because we're going to start getting, it's easy to say that it's easy to write copywriting after you've done it a few times, right? So what are some tips on how you can get started with copywriting? You want to, first off, write every day. Be around words. When you are around words a lot, then you will be able to, your vocabulary gets better. You're able to describe things a lot better. This is why every writer has their own style, which, let me backtrack a little bit. This is another thing that some people mess up on. Please write original content. It is wonderful to take inspiration from other people. It is wonderful to look up to other people and see how they do their copy. However, their ideal audience is not yours. The way you write is going to be different from how they write. Please don't copy anybody. I want you to get sued. Because some people will get angry enough to sue you. Some will be nice and say, hey, can you take that down for me? Others will be angry enough to sue you outright. So please do not copy people. I actually, those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, I went on a rant about that this morning because I saw that they are turning The Lost Boys, 1980s movie, into a TV series. And I went on this little rant on my personal page, and I was like, attention, people who keep rebooting and remaking content, please stop it. Okay? I don't want to see The Lost Boys again. I like the original. Please don't fuck it up. Okay? I don't need an Incredibles 2. I know I'm a millennial and I'm saying I didn't want a second Incredibles. Oh my God, I'm like the devil. I didn't want a Ghostbusters that's female. I want an original ghost-busting, kick-ass female movie. I don't want one based off of something that happened a long time ago. I don't want another Craft movie. That's just me. I didn't want Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I want to watch the original one. Do a different thing. Don't put Sabrina's name on it, okay? There's lots of original content out there. And the reason why it's so successful in the first place is because it's original, okay? All the original stuff, sometimes you're going to get really good shit and you're going to get really bad stuff, right? And that's okay. It means you're experimenting. You're being a writer. You're being a creator. And the thing about being a business owner, about being a person, is you're a creative soul. So please be original. Don't steal somebody else's copy on Etsy, like someone did to me, and put it on your shop and say it's yours. Don't take somebody's copy post just because they posted it to social media does not mean that you can use it, especially if they have an LLC that is trademarked by them because they created it. Don't do it. Don't go on someone else's website and go get their blog. Don't do it. Don't take stuff out of your book. If you can get kicked out of a college for plagiarism on your papers, please don't do it in your business. Please don't do it. Be original. I want to hear the voice that you have. You aren't going to talk about orgasms like I would, okay? You're not going to talk about theater the way that I do, okay? Be original, because that is what's going to be your spark. And as a writer, it makes sense. Stephen King is different from Joe Hill, even though Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, okay? If I'm in the mood for really long-winded shit, but is actually really gripping still, I will watch Stephen King. But if I want to see it with a bit of a twist in its own kind of voice, I'm going to read Joe Hill. There's a difference, right? Every really successful author, go to Barnes & Noble or the library and go look through all the different books they have. Nora Roberts is different than, oh, what is her name? Dorothy Garlock. She is different. Okay, both of them are romance writers, but they are so different in the way that they deliver it. Okay, so please, pretty please, difference. Okay, and the biggest thing that I want you to think about here is write your stuff like it's a 10-minute play. That I don't want you to write 10 pages. Okay, don't do that. That's not what I mean by that. But that you need to get to the problem quickly. You need to introduce your characters quickly. You need to have that emotional connection very quickly. And you need to get to the climax and the resolution very quickly. And you can do this in 6 sentences, maybe even less. You could do this in like a couple of words if you want to, if you're really practiced at it and you know your audience and you know your message really well. So please just do this in the way that it gets to the point, it creates that connection, and it tells a little bit of a story so people know, like, and trust you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to buy from you. If they have bought from you in the past, that means that they trust you on some level and will probably buy from you again. Very easy, okay? So, some ways to help with this, right? To get really started. Like I was starting to mention, write every single day, okay? Be around words every day. And this doesn't mean that you need to write a novel every day, but write a piece of copy every day. Even if it's something really silly, like, are you sick of your toddler stealing your water and in the middle of the night? Get this one. Get this water bottle because it's a twisty and she can't figure out how to take it off. And you're just like, yeah, my water. Or are you tired of not getting your daily water intake, but you work all day at your desk and you can't really get up? Get this. It holds 60 ounces of water and it'll keep it cold for over 24 hours. Awesome. Mine. You know, very easy. Okay. Coca-Cola, since I have a Coke bottle here. Coca-Cola does this all the time with their commercials. Especially during Christmas, everybody knows them for their polar bear commercials, where it's the cute little polar bear that wants a Coca-Cola, okay? They're creating a story, and that happiness relates to having a Coca-Cola. It's gonna make you happy if you have it. The beer commercials do this. They put women or men, okay, if you want to do Saturday Night Live with Chris Farley and Adam Sandler, how they have Schmidt's Gay beer. They use scantily clad people to be like, if you have this beer, it's going to be like you're by the pool surrounded by a bunch of hot people, and you're just going to be like, right? So that's how they tell their story, only it's in a visual way. So be around that kind of stuff every day. Write, create funny little copy about things, and it's going to help you. I wanted to give you an example because I'm big on being that person that walks my walk, walks the walk and talks the talk. This is all of my stuff for writing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years worth of writing here, and I actually just finished this one. No? Yeah, that one. I just finished this one, and I'm starting on a new one of me writing every single day. So, some of it I'm never going to use. Some of it is just me rambling. However, some of it is also very good copy if I'm telling my own stories. So I personally save them for later. But it's good to, it's getting hot in here. It's good to have examples for this stuff, all right? It's good to also, if you are writing every day, to have it all organized, okay? So I talked about last week how now I bound my own journal. Boom. And it's got the maiden stuff in it. And all of my other programs for this semester, actually for this year, are in my other journals. I made another one, this pretty gold one, with this fabulous red on the inside for the Eternal Fire Retreat. So any copy that I'll make, I'm probably going to put it in here. Anything I've designed, like the itinerary, fabrics, accessories, because I'm making robes, High Priestess robes for me and the fabulous Susie. So I sketched my stuff in here, and any copy that I make is going to go in here as a way to have ideas. But I have a place to put it if I choose to do that, right? Another way to expose yourself to words is to read, right? I personally, I'll show you. I mentioned this. I read webtoons, so every day there's new updates on all kinds of different artwork and stories. They're usually all visual because it's anime. Some are scary, some are romance. But I subscribe to over like 50 of them. And you can even, like, all of these are my new ones for today that I gotta go read. The reason I do this is, one, it gives me something nice to read that's brand new, but then it's a reminder for myself every day to read something. Let me go get some more books real quick. I'll be right back. Have a tea break. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay. But that is an example of everyday how I like to read. But I want you to, well, I would like for you to expose yourself to all kinds of different ways you can read. For me, that's using webtoons. Another thing that I do is, I was in so many play theory classes that I have a lot of plays that I read. So some of these my maidens are going to recognize because we actually did practice readings off of these and I gave everyone feedback. So The Goat, or Who is Sylvia, is one. Equus is another one that's actually really good, and all of these are really small. This is like 2-hour shows. You could sit down and finish this in 2 hours. August Osage County, which actually turned into a movie with Meryl Streep. I sat down and got Lolita. I was reading that at the beginning of class one time, weirded out my professor reading that just because I wanted to expose myself to a different type of reading style. World War Z, still working my way through that. The Tea Rose, that one's really good. Jack the Ripper, I like it because she makes a tea garden and it's very thick. It was a very big book. It took me like a few days. It took me a few days to read that. Let me see. Looking for comments real quick. Let's see. some other ways, you actually have ways, all of my readers in here, use cards. All of your cards are based off of stories. Every card in itself is telling its story. So if you have oracle cards or tarot cards and you're really stuck on a piece of copy, pull some cards. One deck that I like to use for that is the Artist's Way cards by Julia Cameron. They're really cool. Look at that. Because it's based off of her book series. And the way that they are is they're meant to give you writing inspiration, because her thing is every day that you need to read for a certain amount of time. And not read, you need to write for a certain amount of time. And every card is a little prompt for you to think about. All about your creative spirit. Move out of my face. Yeah. So I like to use these for when I'm feeling stuck, for examples. Speaking of Julia Cameron, though, all of her books are fantastic. All of them were based off of courses that she created. On writing and finding your creative voice, no matter what kind of creator you are, whether you're into music or into sculpting or writing or anything like that. She is all about using your creative spirit. And I like to use it for copywriting because some of the things that she has you journal about every day, it helps you get really honest about yourself and your own journey, and then you can use that as fodder for connecting with your ideal clients. So The Artist's Way is the book for her. This is what it looks like, Julia Cameron. She also has The Artist's Way at Work for business owners. Still Julia Cameron. This is the second book in the series, Walking in This World, Julia Cameron. And for my parents, The Artist's Way for Parents, Raising Creative Children. So all of these are really good. It forces you to add a little bit of self-care, while at the same time it gets you in the practice of writing every single day. So these are some tips for here. Something else that you can do is practicing to listen to yourself. So if you're not big on journaling, oh my God. If you're not big on journaling and you still are having a hard time finding your own writing voice and how you like to deliver copy, one thing you can use is a tape recorder, and any thoughts that pop up in your head throughout the day, go ahead and record it. Same thing with journaling. A lot of my coaching clients, I suggest that they carry around a little journal. That way, when ideas pop in their head, no matter what it is, they write it down, because then your intuition's like, hey, you're listening to me. I'm going to give you more things to think about. And the more that you do that, the more channeling is going to happen, and then you're going to find yourself channeling while writing your copy. That's just as some things to think about. Okay, how's everybody so far? Give me hearts and likes if you're feeling good. If you have questions, seriously post them. I love questions. Questions are yummy. So let me know what's happening. And sometimes even a good way, if you feel overwhelmed by words, is to have a detox from anything written. I know that is an exercise that Julia Cameron has for one of her weeks in The Artist's Way, is not reading anything at all for a week. And it's very hard. It's very hard. But having that reading detox forces you first to clean, because you're bored and you can't read. But then after that, it forces you to create on your own. So that's also another thing that you could do. Let's see, I'm not seeing any questions. Let's see, what's happening? What's happening? No, Sherry, you didn't. I'll go ahead and tag. Let's see. Let's tag you, Sherry. Okay. Invite Sherry. Because I know you were into this. There we go. Let's see. Okay, it looks like everybody's good. Looks like everyone's good. So, this is the part where I wanted to show you some of the tools that I use for copywriting. Even for writing books and stuff like that, I'm going to show you some things that I use. So let's make sure I've got everything up first. Make sure that the computer does not crash on itself again. Let's see. Okay. Let's do this. Whoa. Come on, computer, don't die on me. My God, please don't die. Looks like we're still okay. Woo! Okay. So this first is how, for those that don't know, last year I wrote another book. And this is how I got that done, was I used Fighter's Block. There's a little link there. I just Googled Fighter's Block because that's a really weird thing. But what you do is you pick a little person. So let's say you want to pick her, or you can pick a mage or Karen. I think I picked Karen. You pick a monster and you put a word goal in here. So let's say 5 words. And when you hit fight, the key is that you need to reach your word count to defeat the enemy before you run out of HP. Any minute that you don't write, your HP lowers. This is how I got my goal. And then it stops once you're done. If you have to pause it to go to the bathroom or something, you can press pause up in the corner. But your little character gains HP, and then you can get a new monster, or you can pick a new character. And I thought this was super cool. I used this, I did National Novel Writing Month last year, and every day I had to write 1,667 words. This is how I did that. Without focusing on anything else. No music, well, a specific kind of music I listen to. No other applications, turn it off, just write. And this is awesome because it lets you do all kinds of formatting and stuff, and it keeps it nice and blank, and then I just copy paste it out. So this is a cool little program that if you have a hard time focusing on just writing for the day, you can make it so that you have a set word count that you want to get to, and you can use this. It's super, super fun. Next one that I like to use, let's see. Next one is Grammarly. If you don't have Grammarly, like you hear in all the commercials, you probably should get Grammarly. It's a really easy, it's a free plugin. Like you can see that I have it on my computer right there. It edits your stuff as you're going. And if you have any formatting issues or anything like that, you can use this. I use it in my emails, Google Docs. I'll use it on Facebook. It'll do all kinds of stuff. There is a paid version, but I like it for when I am typing because I get really distracted by typos when I'm writing any kind of copy, and Grammarly is really nice for that. So like I said, it's a free little add-on that you can do on Chrome. I don't know if you can do it on mobile Chrome, but that is an option. Let's see. The next one that I like, let's make sure Sherry is getting the tag. Oops. Sherry. There you go. I want to make sure that I don't leave you behind, hon. There you go. Is lynda.com. Now, lynda.com teaches you all kinds of different things. Like it'll teach you Photoshop, web design, and give you certifications for them that usually you can use on a resume. However, I like to use it for copywriting. There are some copywriting courses on here that teach you how to do it at your own pace, because they're all do at your own pace kind of stuff. and it makes it so it's nice and easy for you. So if you just go up here, copywriting, already some stuff is popping up, and I can actually show you the one that I did. Blue. Yeah, copywriting's for results. Learn how to make copy. What is dynamic copywriting? All of these in design, like stuff like this, storytelling for advertising campaigns, stuff like this, you can use to create really good copy. Now, lynda.com has a free month. I'm not sure how much it is after that. However, check with your library to see if they have a program for helping people get jobs, because my local library allows me to have Lynda for free for like unlimited time. And that's how I got it. So definitely check and see what it says for you. Hello again, Amanda. Let's see. I want to make sure it's popping up. There we go. There we go. So this is another option. If you need help with organizing your work, like if you're like me and have multiple things going on and you've got multiple pieces of copy happening at the same time, I use Asana. So this is also what I use for communicating with my VAs, because it lets you put higher priority on some things. It lets you move things into different boxes. It lets you add deadlines so you can see who is working on what. If you have a copywriter that works for you specifically, you can see what they work on, when things are due on a timeline, little to-dos for your stuff, all kinds of stuff. So I use this for organizing pieces of my copy, mainly when it's a book or a bigger project. So if you're working on writing a book, then this is a way to get it nice and organized. Let's see. Something that I use for quick stuff is using Google Docs. Now, Google Docs, the reason I like to do this is because I can take it with me, and I can work on big pieces of copy at the same time. I have blurbs that I can use on any kind of basis, and I just have to quickly edit it. If you're working on it with multiple people, like it's showing here, you can see their name pop up, and people can edit things at the same time. You know, it does have some templates to help you get started if you're using copy for specific things. Like I said, you can use this anywhere. How I used it was for my book. And I'll show you what it looks like on the inside if you don't know what Google Docs is. Let's see. So the cool thing about Google Docs is you can make a little table of contents that's available through like hyperlinks. But besides that, like I mentioned before, Grammarly works in here. You're able to organize things in copy and things like that. Sometimes I will highlight things in different colors if I want to change them, like have it as a template instead, which makes it really, really handy. And I can access this from my phone, and I can even like write on it and highlight it, and all the edits will pop up on the other side. So that's for something if you want copywriting on the go. Something else that you can use is Evernote. Now this I have been using since college. Evernote's really cool. It lets you put things into notebooks. This is where a majority of my copy lives. Where I go and I write it is if I have something that I need to write down, I usually hop into Evernote to do it. Let me see if I can show you the inside. Evernote, and it's all fancy. It's got the cute little elephant. There's actually also have a version of Evernote that's like an iPad, that anything you write on it paper-wise gets transferred into your document. But see, like, I advertised for a podcast this week because I'm starting a new podcast. So I wrote my copy in here. Copy for Lost Group members. Trouble with orgasms copy. I love playing support copy. Trigger warning copy. All of my copy usually is in here. As you scroll through, it's like 2019 application promo. Healer Maker, etc. series copy. You remember this series? Where we learned about if you're a healer, a maker, a teacher, or a reader? There's the copy for it. I put it in here. Okay, and this is actually where I wrote it. Sometimes it lets you put emojis in here. You have to copy paste them in though. So this is really good if you're on the go and you get really inspired about something. It's a good way to get quick notes in here. So this is what I mainly use. And then something cool that I really like is this specific spreadsheet. Now, my mothers get this, along with anybody, and actually my crones too. New people that pop over into the academy get this spreadsheet. And the reason why I really like this spreadsheet, and I designed it this way, when it decides to load, is there's niche topic questions. So if you're feeling lost on what you should be writing about, the idea is for all the questions that I have in here, which I'm not going to show this for very long, all the questions that you have in here, you would write a certain number of answers. And for this, if you wrote one answer for each of these questions related to your audience, you have 26 topics that you can talk about for 26 days or 26 weeks if you do a weekly live stream. I also give you formats for writing in here. So if you need to write a quick little tip or trick, I give you the word count, and then you can hop over to Fighter's Block, put in the word count, and quickly bust it out. If you want a 5-minute one, you need that many words. 7 minutes, that many words. Saga, that many words. And it really flows on out. So, like I said, this is usually reserved for my mothers and my crones that pop into the academy. But I wanted to mention this kind of resource because it's super fun and super cool. And I use it personally for my own stuff. So, does anybody have questions? I feel like I blazed through this and I probably talked a little fast, so I want to make sure everybody is feeling all right. Let me know if you have questions and stuff, and I will give it a second to catch up. If you don't have questions, just give me hearts and likes and stuff. And the whole thing with copywriting is it's an everyday kind of thing. But if you learn how to do it in the way of storytelling and you just use really simple tools and things like that, it's going to be really, really easy for you. Let's see. Okay. I'm not getting any questions. So this is the first workshop of a few that we're going to have this month. And actually next week, I believe we're going to be talking about putting yourself first. Yeah, next week we're going to be talking about if having rock solid boundaries makes you a mighty biz bitch. Like a high and mighty biz bitch, like, oh, you're too good for me. We're going to be talking about that, and that goes along with copywriting. Really stating your boundaries, really stating the things that you will do can be mentioned in your copy. This is also something to mention on your website, and the way that you deliver it, or even the way that if you're doing free readings and trying to get some practice up or some testimonials, the way that you deliver the message to the people around you is all about reflective of your copy. It's different to tell someone, ha, he's not coming back, are you fucking crazy? Then at the moment, I don't see that it's going to happen in the cards. However, things can always change, and I would love to be able to sit here and help you figure out your next steps in the meantime if you choose to continue waiting for him. Boom, 2 completely different ways to do this. And if you want to do this for Valentine's Day, remember I said talk about the solution and not so much the features. So for example, I have a Valentine's love reading package on my website that actually the price has to change because a lot of stuff goes into it now. Where they get a tarot, the features are they get a tarot and palm reading. And if they do the deluxe one, they get a bath soak spell and they get a custom meditation that I send them. So the idea is whatever you were trying to attract for Valentine's Day, go ahead and grab that and then sit in the bath and listen to your meditation at the same time. So this works for people if they want to know exactly where they are now and they're tired of being told that they don't have a soulmate when they feel like they really do. Because there's a specific mark for palmistry about who your soulmate is if you're with them right now. So I always like to mention, do you want to know if you're with your soulmate right now or not, and finally get a clear answer? Because your palms definitely have it. There's a mark for it, and it's actually one of the more popular ones that I use for every single palm reading that I come across. So if you want no more beating around the bush, I really suggest that you do this love package. And if you don't have your soulmate in your life, we can work on all the other aspects of you being in a relationship to help manifest that person for you. Boom! Nice and easy. It sold it for you, right? It showed how I was going to support them. I didn't mention all the features. Those are bonuses that I will mention afterward, right? So that's an example. So for Valentine's Day, if you choose to go out and have readings and have offers put up for Valentine's Day, I want you to really focus on the solution that you're giving to people. A lot of people don't want to be alone. That's the main reason that they have, they want readings for love. They just want to be told that there's somebody out there for them. And if you tell them that the current person they're chasing or that they want to be with isn't the person for them and leave it there, then they feel like they're going to be alone for the rest of their life. Whereas you could be like, maybe not this Valentine's Day would you have anyone, however, I do see by next year you will. And then that's like, okay, I have someone coming for me. They feel a little better. So work on your copy. NLP is a really, like neuro-linguistic programming, the way that you talk to people is a really wonderful way to work on your copy. Hypnosis is another way. Emotional freedom tapping, focusing on how you describe things is a great way, it's great to include in your copy while also at the same time getting to the root of the problem. So if no one has questions, which I don't see anybody does, if you have questions after this, give me a hashtag replay and pop your questions in the comments below. I know soon I am going to do a Q&A session, like strictly just Q&A from all the stuff that we have for the group, because I know some people have a lot of questions. They're not sure where to start. Even for the YouTube channel, I get a lot of questions on there, and I want to go through and I want to answer them all. So stay tuned for that soon. I look forward to everyone having a fantabulous week. Hope you really enjoyed today's little mini workshop. And I shall see you later on this week and next week for our next one. Bye!